So, today we got the Sony PlayStation presentation. Wow. So I know a lot of people had, mixed feelings, some positive, some negative. I found the presentation overall positive. I'm not going to go over every single game. Obviously, there was, the Gran Turismo 7, uh, another trailer for Grand Theft Auto 5. Golly, that game's been out for how long? There was a few other games. We got another trailer for Deathloop, Rainbow Six, for those that like those kind of games. But I'm just gonna kind of go over the things that I particularly enjoyed. And going first was the first trailer, and that was a remake of Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. Now, I did play it on the Xbox back in the day. The game had its share of issues. I enjoyed it thoroughly, but I never got to finish it. One reason was I got to one point fairly far in the game, and it got stuck in some kind of loop where I accomplished the task at hand, but it still seemed to think I did not. And then when I went back to it, about a year or so later, my Xbox had died, so unfortunately, I never got to finish it. So I would really, really like to play it again. It's very interesting that the company that's going to be working on this, Aspire, this is not going to be a port of the original game. This is going to be built from the ground up. So I don't know if this is going to be all new assets or everything is going to be from scratch. Here's hoping that they're able to knock this out of the park, because if they do this correctly, the sky's the limit. We can see some more games in the world of Star Wars. Obviously this KOTOR 2, and there's quite a few other games I would like to see ported over to the PlayStation. Now, from my understanding, this is going to be a timed exclusive, so eventually it's going to go multi-platform. But I am really, really excited for this. I thought this was just going to be a simple port when I originally heard the reports that they were working on this game, and that we would see it, on a cartridge or whatever, for the Switch, or on a disc for the PlayStation, whatever. But if this is going to be very, very ambitious, and I really, really am looking forward to this being done well and done correctly. And it looks like maybe Aspire might be working with PlayStation Studios, working together. So, fingers crossed. Second thing that popped up that was kind of a surprise, and surprised as to why Sony would do this, is that they announced the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection, which, as far as I know, this is going to come out for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, as well as PC, sometime in 2022. But if you're one of the few people that has a PS5 and you have the PlayStation Plus collection, you already have Uncharted 4. And even if you don't, the game goes on sale like every other month for like $10. So you can get Uncharted 4 and Uncharted The Lost Legacy relatively cheap. So I don't understand why re-releasing this onto, as a collection, what the point is, other than putting it on PC. Now, granted, they're talking about 4K visuals and 60 frames per second and all of that kind of stuff. That stuff doesn't really matter to me, but in all honesty, that could be a patch. We've already received patches for Horizon Zero Dawn, as well as God of War. This is something that could be a patch already for what's already being available to us. So we'll see how that is when that comes out. Someone did say that Golden Abyss was being part of this, but I have found no evidence to corroborate with that statement. So take that with a very, very small grain of salt. Third thing was not so much a surprise, but just a pleasant reveal. God of War Ragnarok. Now, I did play the fourth one that came out in 2018. I enjoyed it, but I will have to admit my heart is still has a place for the original 3, just for the, button mashing, wanton recklessness, destruction. Um, I still kind of prefer those better, but that's not to take away from the 2018 version that is special in its own way. So this one is continuing on, and it looks to be just as good as the first one, if you will. Continues the story on of Kratos and his son Atreus and dealing with Nordic gods. And it looks like it's just going to be, looks like it's going to be just an adventure. Now, there was one thing I found to be incredibly interesting was that they made no announcement on when this is coming out. But if you look at the PlayStation website at blog.playstation.com, it says it's supposed to be planned for 2022. Now, looking at the videos and everybody talking about it, and they've said they've been working on this in 2018. And granted, with the world going on as it is, I can see where this got delayed. I have a feeling this is going to be available in 2022. I think that all that's left is just determining when in 2022. Obviously, they do not want to release it early 2022 to interfere with the sales of Horizon Zero Dawn, but I'm pretty sure there's a few other things that they want to have released with the game at the same time. I know nothing in particularly, but considering, when the other God of War came out, we had, a collector's edition, a special edition PS4, and all of that. Maybe, just maybe, they're trying to do something similar along the lines with the PS5. And that would be really, really cool. So let's be patient on, and hopefully they'll announce something soon on when that game will come out. I'm presuming, obviously, either spring or early fall, so they can hit the holiday season for 2022. Next, another reveal that kind of expecting, as it's been, a few years once again, is Marvel Spider-Man by the folks of Insomniac. Now, I will say I was a huge fan of Marvel Spider-Man. I came to the game rather late. I played it finally last year, and I'll have to admit, I had a hell of a time. I enjoyed it so much. It took me about 30 minutes to an hour to get into it, but once I got into it, I could not stop. That is one of the most fun games I have ever played. And I'm not a completionist, but I played it. I did all the DLC. It was just fun. A whole lot of fun. And the first game I played for the PS5, when I finally got my hands on one, was Spider-Man Miles Morales. And it was just as fun as the first game. I mean, between that and Uncharted, I just enjoyed playing those games so much. So seeing the announcement for Spider-Man 2 just made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Now, I know at the end of this trailer we heard Venom, but I have a feeling that the voice we heard earlier on in the trailer was Kraven. Now, it had a thick accent, and the person was talking about how they would like to find their equal and find a challenge. That seemed more like Kraven. I haven't read a Spider-Man comic in a few decades, but I don't know. That's what it seems like to me. We'll see. It's supposed to come out in 2023, which seems like a far ways away. But looking at my backlog, 2023 will be here before I realize it. So that was a pretty cool surprise. But speaking of the biggest surprise, in my personal opinion, Insomniac was working on another Marvel game. Now, this was a very short teaser trailer, but they're working on Wolverine. Oh my goodness, these folks at Insomniac are they're just firing on all cylinders. We got a Ratchet and Clank that I still have yet to play, but I heard it was pretty fun. I'm a huge fan of the Ratchet and Clank games. We've had the Spider-Man games. We've had, obviously Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. And now we're going to get a Wolverine game. And the way the folks at Insomniac are just churning out quality after quality titles, I have the utmost faith in these guys that they're going to treat Wolverine, they're going to treat him well. And I am excited to see what they come up with. The trailer didn't show anything. All it showed was, obviously somebody sitting at a bar and you see the claws come out. That doesn't tell me anything. But seeing the words Wolverine and seeing the words Wolverine and Insomniac on the same page was enough for me to go, I'm ready. Sign me up. I'll buy it day one. So, my guess that won't come out for quite some time. But anyway, I am truly excited. So, like I said, that for the most part for me were the highlights of the Sony PlayStation presentation of 2021. Like I said, everything else was pretty cool. I'm not a race car guy, so the Gran Turismo games I've never played, never got into. It looks really cool. I know those folks at, was it Polyphonic Digital or whatever, Digital Polyphonic. I know those guys have made a quality series over the years. I know they've had a rabid fan base. Those games are just not my kind of games. If I play it one day, who knows? But I just don't play those kind of games. Never did a Rainbow Six game. Grand Theft Auto. I tried getting into it. Couldn't. Maybe one day. Lord knows. The way things are going, Grand Theft Auto 5 will be around until the next console comes out. And so, like I said, the games I listed are the ones for me. Knights of the Old Republic. Uncharted. I'm a huge Uncharted fan. I already have the game, so I don't see myself getting this collection. Who knows? God of War, I'm ready. Spider-Man 2, sign me up. And Wolverine. What can I say? I'm glad I have a PS5. I can't wait till these games come out. But until then, I'll just keep playing what I have. Anyway, that's it for me. What did you guys think of this presentation? Post in the comments below. And if you like what I had to say, hit that like button. And if you want to hear more from me, always subscribe. Help me get to 200 subscribers. And I'll talk to you guys next time.